Hello everybody, it is Age Weather Forecast and welcome back to another video. This is going to be yet another weather forecast here on the severe weather event likely for the Midwest today. We also have this multi-day severe weather threat throughout millions for the next 3 days. So we're going to be watching that closely, but our main threat is today. We could be seeing very large hail, possibly some widespread tornadoes, and some very strong gusty winds that could possibly uproot trees and bring in power outages throughout millions. Hope you guys do enjoy this detailed video. We're going to be talking about great detail of the timing of these storms, where we can have the worst, and also the impacts on these big, large bands. But also be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and also be sure to hit the post notification icon to get notified as soon as I post a daily weather forecast. Or also be sure to share the video to any friends or family that you know will be impacted by the severe weather. But without further ado, let's get into the severe weather forecast. So here we are looking at the National Weather Service right now. We don't have any alerts severe weather related as of right now. Only thing we do have in the Midwest is a couple flood warnings here for parts of the Dakotas due to the extremely heavy rain from these pop-up bands, and also a couple special weather statements due to the extreme heat in these areas. We are seeing 90s and 80s, so also very favorable conditions for some strong pop-up bands, and also going to be seeing favorable conditions due to a lot of shear and also the instability. So here we have, of course, nothing really major, no severe thunderstorm warnings, severe thunderstorm watches as of yet. But by the end of the video, we could possibly have maybe a pop-up severe thunderstorm warning or two for parts of Minnesota, which we'll keep an eye on. Now, if we look at the SPC outlook here we do have this enhanced risk for 4 states here. It's Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Michigan. So I did not expect to see an enhanced risk for Michigan, but here we are right here with the enhanced risk for Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota for those areas. So for those areas in the orange, we are going to be expecting the best probability for tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. So you're definitely going to want to be on the lookout whether if you're in a slight or an enhanced risk. We could be seeing some power outages, of course. Could possibly see maybe 2 to 3 inch sized hail, maybe even 2.5 inch sized hail or 3 inch sized hail in that general area of size. But we do have areas like Green Bay, Wisconsin, Muskegon. I believe we also have Grand Rapids, Michigan, also Rochester, Minnesota, and far northern Iowa. Those are the areas where we have this enhanced risk. Also, we do have this very widespread slight risk for general areas for parts of the Great Lakes, and also the other side of the Midwest and general the Western Plains, including parts of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Wyoming. So even if you're in the slight risk, you still want to be on the lookout, because our highest threat or our highest level is an enhanced risk, and the slight risk is right underneath that. So we can't rule out the possibility, of course, for some tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds for those areas in the slight risk, and even the marginal, but that's obviously a smaller possibility of having those risks. So our highest probability for tornadoes is a 2% chance, which I strongly disagree with. I do believe a 5% chance is actually necessary. We have very high CAPE values and very low CAP. Also seeing overday heating, instability, also shears in place. I think this is a perfect scenario for the Midwest at this point of the year for seeing a decent amount of tornadoes. And a 2% chance, I strongly disagree. I think this is not under-hyping it, under forecasting it, or you could possibly say under hyping it, but I really do think a 5% chance is necessary, because I think really likely we can be seeing some widespread tornadoes or a couple tornadoes or spin-ups in these general areas or general vicinity of the Midwest and Great Lakes. As we now look at the hail threat, the hail and wind threat seem to be the primary threats. We do have a 30% significant risk for parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota, or actually we have a 30% chance for Wisconsin and Minnesota, and a significant risk for parts of South Dakota and those tri-states there. So as you see, very big threat and severe threat for hail. Could very well see some large hail in the next coming hours for parts of these areas. Also, we have that 15% chance for scattered areas across parts of Lake Erie. Also, the general western Great Lakes, and also, of course, the Western Plains. So that's a 15% chance for hail, and we also have the widespread 5% chance all the way from the west to the Mid-Atlantic. So very widespread hail threat today, and also the wind threat's also very widespread with a 30% significant risk we have a significant risk in place for Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota. So it seems like the southeastern Minnesota and central Wisconsin might get hit the hardest based on the probabilities, because all those areas are in a significant risk, other than that 2% chance for tornadoes. But that 30% chance does stretch for all those areas that are under that enhanced risk. And then we have the widespread 5 to 15% chance for those general areas that are going to be seeing that slight or marginal risk. We're going to be talking briefly tomorrow's threat. We do have a slight risk for around 40 million people. So we do have a big topic for tomorrow as well as severe weather, but we're not going to be really talking in great detail about that in today's video. We are going to continue to focus on that Midwest potential event. So next coming hours, we do have these strong pop-up linear bands developing in parts of the Midwest. Could we see some strong bands developing for parts of northeastern Nebraska, general areas in northern Iowa, and even parts of the border with Wisconsin and Minnesota? Could be seeing those strong bands developing with the overday heating. It's a perfect scenario to see these pop-up bands. These do strengthen as we get closer to the overnight hours and the evening. They do bring that big severe weather threat and strong potential for Green Bay, parts of Wisconsin Dells, even arrive in parts of Madison, Wisconsin there, and could be seeing quite the strong band. It's going to be really, really a messy scenario for Lake Michigan. Not a great day to go out, or you can possibly go out in the next coming hours, but in the evening and overnight hours, you definitely do not want to be on the lake. We're definitely be seeing some strong supercells to develop here. We also do have a high SCP numbers, and also going to be seeing a possibility for maybe some smaller squall lines, but that's all going to depend, of course, on this incoming cold front. But, of course, these strong bands will not weaken before they do pass Lake Erie, and could bring those strong bands into tomorrow morning for parts of Pennsylvania and parts of our states off Lake Erie, including Ohio, Pennsylvania, and portions of New York. So that's the NAM3KM model. That's what exactly we're going to be seeing today, or throughout today, these strong bands. So definitely want to watch out if you're near Rochester, Madison, Wisconsin Dells, even Eau Claire. You guys definitely want to be on the lookout for some strong severe weather. And if you see those dark clouds, you might want to get in, because we can definitely see some large hail, really maybe some really low lightning. It's just going to be very interesting to play out, as we are in the most favorable month for Midwestern severe weather outbreaks, which is June. So we're end of May and portions of June. So as we look at the Kate values as of right now, they are very low, or not extremely low, but we are seeing up to 1,500 joules per kilogram. Seeing some triple digits here, lower triple digits. So not an extreme amount of energy here. We don't have too much overday heating instability as of yet. But as we now get in the afternoon, this is these numbers, a huge jump in K values here. We're going to be seeing up to possibly 5,500 joules per kilogram. These general areas of Wisconsin, that's going to be seeing the highest amounts of K values, mean obviously higher amounts of energy to produce these strong bands. So very favorable conditions for Wisconsin. And not only that, we are not going to be seeing anything. We're not going to be seeing the really high Cape or cap values. So not going to be seeing anything capping out yet. But we do also have that 3.2 on the supercell composite parameter there. Also, we are seeing these higher numbers for portions of Minnesota as well. This is going to be the early afternoon hours, portions of southern Minnesota, where we have an enhanced risk. We have up to 4,000 joules per kilogram. We are all going to be seeing, of course, a severe weather threat there. And then as we get later into today, these numbers just blow up all the way from Nebraska to portions of Minnesota. We're going to be seeing quite the high numbers for really high Cape values. Going to be portions of Nebraska can be seeing up to 5,000 joules per kilogram. We are going to be seeing that marginal severe weather threat for Nebraska. The highest really severe weather threat will be for portions of, and that enhanced risk obviously, but most likely southeastern Minnesota and parts of general western and central Wisconsin there. We are going to be seeing up to 5,700 joules per kilogram with negative 24 caps. So perfect scenario for maybe seeing some large hail, strong wind gusts, a potential for supercells, and also going to be seeing those higher numbers there in the border with Iowa, Minnesota, and those other, and Wisconsin. And we do have almost 11 on the supercell composite parameter, and we do have that tornado probability. Also, going to be seeing these higher numbers popping out in portions of South Dakota and portions of Nebraska, where we do have a severe weather threat. Of course, the tornado threat is going to be maintaining in for portions of Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. This is basically where we have the biggest probability maybe for tornadoes. So just because you have high K values doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have tornadoes or huge, severe, major bands. It's just, that means you have a high amount of energy, but it doesn't necessarily mean you actually are going to be seeing extreme severe weather outbreaks or anything like that. And then as we get to portions of Michigan, you guys can be seeing nearing 4,000 joules per kilogram there. We are going to be seeing that tornado threat likely, and also some supercells are also likely to pop out throughout parts of northern Michigan, and then the energy does die down as we now get into tomorrow. Now also going to be looking at the supercell composite parameter here, or the SCP, and really, for those people who don't know how to really tell what the high amount of supercell, or what's a high number on this graph, anything really higher than a 20 is considered a high number or a very good probability of seeing supercells. Anything really in between a 14 to a 20 is considered medium. Anything really below 12 is considered a bit of a lower side on the numbers here, because it goes all the way from 1 beyond 46 or beyond 50. As you see, supercell composite numbers are very low. We are only seeing up to a 3 here, so that's not impressive. But as we now get later into today, as we get warmer temperatures, as we get a lot more energy, the overday heating, obviously more instability, and also the wind shear is going to be kicking in place in the evening. That's all going to set in place for later today. We are going to be seeing up to a 17 on the supercell composite parameter here, and we obviously have that marginal tornado threat there. We're seeing at that point 4,000 joules per kilogram, and as we get later on, those numbers do kind of die down. So we're not going to be seeing 30s like we do in the South Central as of. That's not going to be what we're going to be seeing in this event. Like I said earlier, I've been mentioning throughout today's video, we are going to be seeing wind shear set in place for much of May. For many of the events that we saw in May, we saw really little shear like we did in April. That's why we didn't see that many. That's why we didn't see any moderate risk in May. We did see a decent amount of enhanced risk, but most of this enhanced risk events seem to be a bust. So we really only had 1 to 2 real severe weather events really throughout the month of May. Well, this obviously is a different month, a different scenario, so we're going to be seeing a lot of shear coming in place here for parts of the northern plains. That's going to be taking place by later today. Look, all this shear right here is setting in place. It's not an impressive amount of shear, but it is enough shear to possibly increase the severe weather probability or to maintain this severe weather event. Could be seeing at the 56 knots there, so a decent amount of shear, and that kind of continues the increase there. For parts of the for the Northwest and northern United States. Who knows, that could possibly increase the probability for maybe some more severe weather events for the North Central Plains as we continue to monitor this closely. As we see, nothing yet. We don't have anything, any new updates on the National Weather Service yet, because this video was actually on the shorter side, only maybe around 14 minutes long. I expected it to be a bit higher, but really could expect to see the really strong severe weather for parts near Minneapolis, Rochester, far northern Iowa, and portions of Wisconsin. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, though. Please, of course, subscribe if you have not already to show your support. Also, be sure, of course, to share the video to anybody that you know is not weather aware for this potential severe weather event. But without further ado, hope you guys did enjoy the video, and bye, guys.